To better understand Egyptian foreign policy, especially after October 7th, you need to first understand the Egyptian perception of national security. My name is Khaled Hassan. I'm an Egyptian-British national security and geopolitics researcher, and I was a member of President Sisi's first presidential campaign. And this is Egypt for Dummies 101, Egyptian foreign policy after October 7th. Egyptian decision makers fundamentally believe that their national security depends on a few factors. 1. No normalization with Israel. 2. Keeping Israel preoccupied with war on multiple fronts. 3. No military adventurism. The Egyptian army remains focused at home rather than engage in overseas operations such as military campaigns against the Houthis in Yemen. And number 4, economic independence for the military. Egypt believes that the military must be completely independent and have its separate, undisclosed budget and economic resources. This includes farms, factories, and companies of all sorts. Now, this is why, for instance, Egypt refused on multiple occasions to get involved in any campaigns against the Houthis in Yemen. It's also why they refused to even carry out any sort of military action against the Houthis when they disrupted maritime traffic in the Red Sea, which led to losses of over $7 billion for Egypt in 2024 alone. But most importantly, this is also why we now see Egypt recommending Lebanon opts for a truce or a ceasefire instead of a peace treaty with Israel. So Egypt fundamentally believes that keeping Israel preoccupied with enemies that surround Israel is crucial for Egyptian national security. Many would argue that this is due to some sort of fear of perceived plans of Israeli expansionism. But it's actually something far more sinister. This is mostly due to a deep-rooted belief that Egypt will eventually go to war against Israel and that Israel, despite a peace treaty that has survived for over 40 years, remains the main threat to Egyptian national security. We see evidence of this in what Egyptians are taught in military institutions. For instance, shortly after October 7th, the former director of Egypt's Nasser Higher Military Academy, General Safwat El-Deeb, repeatedly claimed that Hamas defends Egyptian national security. This was no random individual. This was a man who actually led Egypt's officially recognized military academy for postgraduate and strategic studies, where all leaders or potential leaders of the Egyptian armed forces are trained and taught. This is the same Egyptian armed forces that actually receives over $1.2 billion from American taxpayers. And they teach their potential leaders and their leaders that Israel is the main threat for the Egyptian national security, which goes against the very fundamentals and old values of the American armed forces. So this is why a lot of people believe that Egypt is such a mystery and its foreign policy and national security policies are very confusing. It's mostly because they don't understand these 4 factors that I explained. So for instance, if you look at Egypt's economy, you're going to find that it's almost entirely dominated by the military and by the government. And that this is the main obstacle that stands against the development of the Egyptian economy. And it actually causes Egypt, to almost go bankrupt because the Egyptian government is not willing to compromise on the economic independence for the military. So it would rather see Egypt and Egyptians struggling financially and economically than actually free the market and essentially privatize its government and military-owned companies. So again, these 4 factors represent pretty much the core foundation of Egyptian national security and also reflect on pretty much every aspect of governance in Egypt. I'm going to be exploring these 4 factors in depth, but again, this was Egypt for Dummies 101, Egyptian foreign policy after October 7th. Thanks for watching.